Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I am Josh Benoliel, your host of Tales from the Lockbox, and today we are joined with an amazing guest. She's a good friend of mine. She's somebody I work with closely. I'm very excited to have her here. Why don't we click on to the next slide here? We have Sima from Agent's Choice Staging. Sima, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming here.
Thanks.
I know where we joined today from, it's a little bit crazy. There's the holiday market happening. Depending on when you're listening to this, it's around Christmas right now while we're recording it. And it's crazy parking out here.
It's okay. It only took me half an hour.
It's okay.
And a couple of fights.
Well, we live in Toronto now, so everything takes more than half an hour. Every single street is closed. It's one of the worst cities to drive in the world, but we still love it here.
Just trying to find parking took me half an hour.
Plus driving.
Plus driving. It's all
next
good.
Time we'll offer
you're worth it. You're worth it.
We'll have a valet service next time. So I know you. I work with you. I trust you. We do a lot of great stuff together. We've sold a lot of properties together, even in this market in the past couple months. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what Agent's Choice Staging is?
Sure. Well, I'm Sima. I'm the owner of Agent's Choice Staging. I started the business about 5 years ago. The way I started was I was getting ready to sell a couple of condos that I had. And I got them ready, I got them prepared. And my agent at the time came in and said, wow, you really did a good job decorating your condo. Have you thought about getting into staging? And at the time, I was 10 years in as a social worker for the child welfare system. Wow. So I used to do child welfare investigations. I was actually the one that went out and apprehended children if they were at risk of abuse or neglect. So I started so I sold my condos. I had a little bit of accessories, and that agent started sending me out on his jobs, just doing a little bit of staging.
Doing a little touches.
Exactly.
Here.
So I would do a little bit here and there. It got to the point where I was doing both the social work and the staging full time. I got my inventory to a point where it's at a 5,000 square feet warehouse full of inventory. Incredible. I'm talking about, towels, bedding, pillows, couches, anything that you would think that will go into a house, I have. Yeah. So I got to a point 2 years ago where I was able to say goodbye to my child welfare career. It was a hard decision to make. And now we are a team of 5 people. I have four full-time employees, 2 movers and 2 assistant stagers. Incredible. Yeah, we're about 300 stages in for the year. Wow. Bravo. And it's been up and down. It's been a little crazy. I've learned a lot. Sure. Yeah, I deal with a lot of different people. But I think the most rewarding part is when somebody goes in afterwards, like yourself or a homeowner, and they say, wow, like, we're so happy with what you did, right? Yeah. So it all becomes worth it at the end when they walk in and they say, thank you, this looks great. And
not only that, it's also when the buyers walk in and they fall in love with the place. Right. And I've worked with you on so many different levels, from bringing you into a bare bones condo with nothing in it and you bringing in everything and making it look like a home, to taking a home that has a lot of nice stuff in it but making it feel less masculine, let's just say, for example, and making it feel like anybody's home. And it's exciting to see how really you're a very significant part in the process. I mean, I think, not every agent has experience with staging. People have their takes on it, if they do it or not. I think it's definitely, it needs to be a very strong tool in any agent's toolbox. Yeah. You have to have it.
And I'm not just saying this, but I actually believe in it. Like, it works. I've seen the differences it makes. I've seen on how Sigma on Realtor.ca, the pictures posted of places that are not staged, where the beds are not made. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, fine, if you don't have the budget to do a full-on staging, call us in just for a consult, and we'll tell you how to position furniture, we'll tell you what to get rid of, and we'll tell you how to depersonalize. But when I compare pictures of a property that's had some investment in it, I'm like, if I was an agent, this is the home I'm going to take my client to, because it shows me that they actually took care of this property. There was some pride in this property.
By everybody.
Exactly. And the agent cares, right? So it's a whole team that comes together to get this property ready for, a market that has its ups and downs.
Of course. And I think now more than ever, you need to stand out. So one of the things, it's all my marketing this week. I've been putting it out, my newsletters, my blog posts, everything. It's like, you need to be even if everything's down right now, you need to be even better than everyone else. That's twilight photos. That's getting the place painted. That's getting every single drawer fixed. You know, like no one thinks about this. Before I bring Sima's team in to stage a property, I have my contractor going. He's painting every wall. He's changing every light bulb. He's making sure every single door slides open perfectly. Every single handle on every single cabinet is dialed in. Because really, when you look at it, somebody's selling $1 million condo. That's $1 million product. We might think about it, but you're doing $1 million sale. You don't walk into the Gucci store to buy a $3,500 purse and maybe they're going to give you good service. Right. And maybe the store is going to look perfect. When you walk in there, there's somebody with white gloves on taking that bag out of the glass case. It's not a speck of dust on it, and they're presenting it to you. And when you make that purchase, you're feeling like, wow, I just bought something of extreme value. And I think a lot of agents lose that direction when they go into buying a condo, or that this is $1 million product. This is your showroom. Right. And bringing somebody like Sima, and specifically Sima, she does a great job at it, and your team, really brings that showcase product to life. It gives it legs. It gives the person space when they walk in, right?
What I'm always thinking, even when I was buying my own properties, is if I walk in and I see damages, I think to myself, what else are they hiding?
Right.
What's behind the walls that I cannot see? Because this person didn't think it was important enough for them to get these, these things that I can see fixed. And now I'm worried about what else is there that I can't see.
They don't care.
Exactly. So why should I care? And why should I put my money into this if they don't care?
100%. And it really shows, this year alone, we did a couple of transactions in a building that, like, in a down market in Yorkville, the condos that I sold in that building, they ended up Hazelton. They ended up selling for over $1,400 a square foot. If you look at the average in Yorkville right now, the average is much closer to below 13 right now, with some things even selling for around 1,000. So, it's remarkable to see that when you put the effort in and everything comes together, there's a reason why certain agents are not sitting on listings for a long time. Now, that's not to say with everything, you got to have a piece, because staging does cost money, especially in a market now. There's an agent here, I can see her sitting outside the studio right now, where they have a listing and they put staging in, and I know for a fact, they're on their second or third month of paying like $8,000 a month in staging. It's not cheap, right? And I think agents get scared of that number, that upfront cost, but there's ways to work it with clients, and there's ways to do it so it's not a burden.
But however you as agents position how you work out the finances with the client, that's on you. But what I always think about, that $8,000 staging that your realtor is doing, I'm thinking that's a pretty nice home that she's spending that much money.
It's a very nice condo.
Let's just say, she's sitting there with her client at the end of the day, and she didn't do the staging. She didn't do the nice photos. She didn't go in and do the inspection or whatever she needs to do.
It's going to be a big what if.
That client's going to be like, well, what did you do for me?
We should have staged it.
Yeah, what did you do for me? And it's your fault that this property is not selling.
At least she's exhausted all the efforts.
She's done everything she needed to do to make sure that this property is marketed at its best.
Absolutely. Right? Now, interesting question, do you find a lot, because it's a good thing to ask you on your side of thing, like, because agents don't know how to bring it up. Like, there's a lot of agents in our company who don't know, or agents out there, like, when do I bring in staging? Like, do you find it's a lot of agents paying you for staging, or clients paying you for the staging?
So I have about 10 to 15 agents that hire me for all of their jobs. And I know that they're charging.
Am I one of them?
You're one of them. They're doing the white glove service. So they're going in with a contractor, like you said. They're going in and having the inspection report, and they're going in with me to do a full walkthrough.
Right.
I know what they're charging, their percentage, and I know that covers the staging. So that's because they're charging a higher percentage.
Right.
So some agents, because they don't charge the full 2.5 or whatever it is, they say to the client, well, they have criteria. If you pay this much of a percentage, I can cover.
This is the service you're going to get. My services cost like this. You want it included? This is how I do it.
Different tiers, right? Yeah. Some agents, what they do is they have the client pay up front, and once the property sells, they reimburse them. And then I don't know what happens if it doesn't sell, but But I have an agent right now who took his listing off the market, and he's relisting it in March. But what he's doing is, he's already has the photos, he's already has the videos with the staging. To save on cost, he's like, on this one, we're just going to relist as is vacant because we've already spent so much money. So it all depends on what you have worked out with your client. Most of the agents that I work with, they pay for the staging.
Here's a fun thing I never even thought to ask you about is, what's your take on virtual staging?
I don't believe in it.
0%?
No, 0. A lot of staging companies offer it. I think that people look at the pictures on MLS, and that's what they expect to see when they walk in. And when you walk into a property, only 10% of people are able to see past what it is.
Right.
So only 10% are able to visualize their own furniture in there. Only 10% are able to depersonalize that space if it hasn't been staged. The rest, their brains get distracted. So the example I always use, my mom, I'm Persian. My mom loves Persian rugs. There's Persian rugs on the wall when I walk into her place, right? But if I was to go in there and we're going to sell her place and I have to stage, all of those Persian rugs, they're gone. Right. Because you're only now marketing that house to a certain group of people. You're not marketing it to the mass.
Absolutely.
So how do we depersonalize and how do we do all that is by staging. So if you're doing virtual staging, people are going in there, and especially, they virtually stage these small properties. I go in there, I'm like, I'm eating, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm sleeping in this one little space, right? So when you stage it, you're putting a small little kitchen table, you're putting a small little couch, you're actually showcasing the space and showing different areas of the space and how it can be used.
I love that. And it's so true. Like, one of my goals always, as when I'm listing something, is to make sure that the home feels comfortable for anybody that walks in. We recently sold a house together as well, and the house, there was a very successful doctor, male doctor, by himself living in the house, and his house was gorgeous, but he had a lot of like masculine things around the house.
Right.
And one of the things that you came in was, it wasn't mass staging. We didn't take out the beds and the furniture.
Right.
He had very nice furniture. We just stripped his stuff off and brought in neutral tones and artwork and different things that kind of made the house feel more neutral to people.
Exactly. And I always say, listen, you don't have a budget for full staging. And by full staging, I mean, I'm bringing in the movers, I'm bringing a truck, I'm bringing 4 to 5 people the day of staging.
Yeah.
If you don't have that budget, do an accessory staging.
Yeah.
Where you take the movers out of the budget. And that's a significant cost to us, right?
No
the
truck,
movers.
no movers.
Exactly. So
you're filling it in 2 cars. And
with a van. And they do all the bedding, they steam the beds, they do the towels, they do pillows, they do artwork, they do lighting. You'll be shocked what a difference that place will
we've
look
done that
with
as well,
accessories.
like many times.
From night and day.
It's one of my main things I do for people. It's you need to have that at a minimum. Even if you don't have nice furniture, you can bring it to life a little bit more.
It's all about the accessories.
Rugs, blankets, pillows, everything. Right. Cool. Let's get into it. So you started your own business. Now, this is something we like to relate here, and I like to kind of tied into what you're doing here is how do you find it's frustrating? You're dealing with agents, you're dealing with buildings, you're dealing with traffic, you're dealing with moving trucks, you're dealing with furniture that breaks, you're dealing with air mattresses that are deflated, because we've had that experience before on a showing, and someone walked in and told me that there were sheets on the floor. How do you find that what's driving you? What's bringing you together? I know you like to travel, you're always doing what's your mindset? What's motivating you to continue to do all of this? What's the driving force behind you?
So
as a very professional businesswoman.
So when I was at Children's,
successful one too.
Thank you. When I was at Children's Aid, I went through many different supervisors, and I learned from them as an employee what I liked and what I didn't like. Okay. And when I started my own team and I had my own employees, I always said, I want to be treated the same way somebody, like as that person. Right. So I want to treat my employee the same way I want to be treated. I want to be empathetic. I want to be compassionate. And we're doing a hard job. We're lifting all day. We're moving stuff. So what keeps me going is my team. I have an amazing team. If I say to them, Josh, be at the warehouse at 6:59 a.m., they're there at 6:58 a.m. and they don't stop until we're done. Sometimes we're doing 10 to 12-hour days.
It's crazy.
So that really keeps me going. And I could see that they enjoy what they do. And I could see that the laughters, and I could see that we all laugh together at the job. And I'm not their boss, I'm their colleague as well. They don't look at me like a boss, and I say to them, I care about you guys outside these warehouse doors. Mm-hmm. I care about what you guys go through. So, if we're doing
family here.
They are. And the more I care and the more I invest in them, the better I do as a business owner. Right? So, if we had a 10-hour day, I'm making sure I'm buying them lunch. I'm making sure the next day they're going to comp their time and come in a little bit later. So that is the most significant piece, because I'm not the greatest stager. There are many other stagers that are out there that are better than me. But the communication and the way I treat people is what keeps my business going.
Absolutely.
And that is the most significant thing to me. I don't want these one-off agents. I'm all about relationship building. So I learned a lot at Children's Aid. I'm a doer, but Lauren, who works for me, she's a thinker. So I can't expect her to just go do. She has to sit there. She has to think about it.
Analyze the
then
process.
She goes. Exactly. So what do? I team her up with a doer. Karim is a doer. Lauren is a thinker. So I team them up together. If I put two thinkers together, they're just butting heads all day. Yeah. They don't know the color scheme. They don't know what to do. For me personally, I've had days where I'm like, I want to just close up and just go back to a 9 to 5 because it's so stressful. Just little things. Security guards at condos, concierge, like the trouble sometimes they give us. I feel like I'm visiting the Prime Minister. And I've had some arguments with concierge about the way they treat movers and the way they treat me. We're all the same. You're
still people at the end of the day.
You treat my staff wrong, then you're going to hear it back from me because I don't care that they're movers. I don't care that I'm the boss. We're all equal at the end of the day.
100%.
For me, I don't know if you know, but I post a lot about my dogs. I have a passion for rescuing dogs. I'm on my third dog. I just rescued a German Shepherd from Texas who was thrown out of a car in the highway to get hit by a car. Yeah, so he had 3 days before he was euthanized, and I brought him down from Texas, and my goal eventually is to open up a rescue center on the side. Yeah, so that's how I keep going. I'm out there walking at 5:30 in the morning with 3 dogs. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. My back hurts, my knees hurt, everything hurts.
And big dogs.
Yeah,
you don't have little dogs.
No, I have big boys. And as I get older, my circle gets smaller. And I understand.
As with most people.
I understand why they say that right now. When I was younger, I never understood that. Now I get it. Yeah, because you really want to surround yourself with people that want to see you grow. Yeah. That are not only there for you, hey, when you're out there getting drunk or partying, that are there for you, hey, I had a really bad day today. The staging went wrong. The mattress was out. I had to leave at 6 in the morning to get a new mattress. I just need a 10-minute conversation to feel better. Yeah. So it's just those little things that make me, make it going. And traveling.
Yeah, of course, all of it. It all comes together to paint why you have a successful business. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So I think we got into that, like what drove you to start your own company. Circling back with this service and this value that you're adding to not only your team, how do you relate it, realtors that are using you, can you describe how that value relates? Obviously we know you're staging their place, it looks really well, it looks really good, it comes together, it helps them give them more money, but do you find another thing that kind of comes in when they're working with you that adds value to their clients?
I feel like with some homeowners, they feel like I'm coming in with an unbiased look, a vision. Sometimes, your margins are much higher than my margins. Everybody knows agents, there's criticism. Agents make a lot of money.
Well, there's a lot of money comes off thread.
Exactly.
They see the front, but they don't see the back.
But they don't see that, right? And they don't see that either with me, too. They don't see, I have to pay warehouse rent. I got to pay movers. I got to pay employees,
furniture and fixing furniture and light bulbs.
Exactly. So they see me as somebody unbiased and who wants the best for them. And I do. I want that place to sell. Why? Because not only does it look good for you, it looks good for me, and you're going to send me more business. I've never done any significant marketing with my business. It's been predominantly word of mouth.
Amazing.
Just like
That's
yourself, through Dave.
Yeah, I was with Dave this morning at the gym. Forgot to tell him I was seeing you today.
It's all been word of mouth. Yeah. And that's what I want. And I had a vision for my business. I do good communication, I do relationship building, and I'm going to get business that way. I'm part of the team. It's not that, you're the agent and I'm the stager. We're all a team. So what do we do? Little things. We do a WhatsApp group chat with yourself and with the homeowners. We're all on the same page. Absolutely. We're all contributing. We're not leaving the homeowner out there fending for themselves. I'm available to you mostly all the time, unless I'm sleeping, but I'm available. I know that real estate is not 9 to 5. I know that it takes a lot of evenings and weekends. I don't shut off my phone after 6. I'm going to be there for you.
And you really are. Firsthand, we've done things that fast. recently we had a listing in one building, and I was like, we're moving to the next listing in the building, and it's like same floor, same day, just like she's like, it's sold. I'm like, check is in hand. She literally tomorrow at 9 a.m. they're there, and they moved the furniture to the next listing. We had the next listing up by Wednesday using the same furniture. I'm like, but maybe switch out 2 pictures so that it doesn't look the exact same.
We're in and out. Listen, I know time is money for you guys.
Yeah.
And I know that the longer you wait, the longer you're paying, So I know that this is not a business where we just get to sit there and think and, we take weeks and weeks. No, you're ready to go.
You also have to be responsive, because like in your job, it's not like I'm going to say like, yeah, maybe I say, hey, Sima, like we have a chat just because we're talking, like, oh yeah, these are the next couple listings I have coming down the pipeline the next couple months. For the most part, it's like, no, I need this place staged this week.
Right, exactly.
Like 99% of your conversations are probably like that.
Yeah.
I have this listing, it needs to be staged tomorrow.
Yeah, and
you deal with that. It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, and something is, it's not just I'm just showing up with a pen and paper. I'm showing up with a truck, full of inventory. So I got to plan out. I got to do it. But I understand that this is a fast-moving, environment, and I got to,
Absolutely.
I got to perform.
And you do. I think that covers a lot of the things that I wanted to get out from you. Do you have any more insights, anything you want to share, any value points that you think realtors should know when they're listening to this? Not just Property.ca agents, anyone who's listening to this right now. Like, what are some value points that somebody thinking about staging a home can really take from your experience so far?
I know that it's not cheap, and we do our best to give you a good price. But if you don't have the budget to stage, get us in there to do a consultation. Just to say to the homeowner, remove these pictures, remove these items. It will make a huge difference in how your property is listed. Mm-hmm. One other thing that I want you guys to know is that we do tenanted staging too. And you and I had, I don't know if it was with you. I think
might have been with Jeff, maybe.
On Zoom, we talked about it a bit. You and I talked briefly about it. When you're thinking about staging, a property that's tenanted, that's super difficult, right?
It's one of the worst things to deal with.
I've done it many, many times. How do we do it? We give the power to the tenant. Mm-hmm. So we include the tenant from the get-go. The tenant is not left out in the corner, just us telling them, hey, we're going to be here on this date. We're doing photos. They get to decide when the photos are. So, and if you take us, and there are myself, we have a way of communicating that's going to be better for the tenant. Nobody, I used to rent, and if the homeowner said to me, hey, I'm going to subject you to a bunch of showings, I'm not going to be happy about that.
Right. So they don't like the agent.
No, this is where I come in and say, hey, listen, we're going to make your place look good. So you're not subjected to months and months of showings. We're going to try to get this place sold as fast as possible.
You mediate.
Exactly. Here's what we can offer you. We're going to get your place clean for you professionally. The homeowner's going to cover the cost, but we're going to get your place clean for you professionally. Who doesn't like that?
Yeah.
I love it when my place is clean professionally. It's 100%. One less thing for me to worry about. And if they're not up to, us doing a full staging, accessory staging, and we say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do fresh linen for you. We're going to steam all your towels for you. A little bit of decor in here and there. And then we give them a gift card for Starbucks that day, $100.
Make them feel good.
That day. They leave. They go work from a coffee shop. We stage in about an hour or 2 hours. You do the photos the same day. We're out.
Yeah, done.
Done. But include them. It's significant that they feel they have the power and they're in control. The minute you take that away from them, then they're not going to approve showings. They're going to make your life a living hell.
Very good point.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, guys, thank you, Sima. That's like some really good value you brought here. Anyone who's listening to this, whether it's live or whether you're listening to it afterwards, Sima is one of the best stagers I've ever worked with. I've worked with many in the past, but I only work with one real one now. She does a great job. Her team is incredible. Like she said, everything she said today comes from a place of passion, a place of love and respect, whether it's with her team, with her clients, with tenants, whoever it is. She does a really great job. So if you want to consult with her, please reach out to her. Agent's Choice Staging. I have her contact information. We'll put it into the links as well. Thank you, Sima.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week. Stay hungry. Stay getting out there. Stay motivated.
Stay hydrated.
Get after. Stay hydrated. Stay everything. Don't stay negative. Stay happy. Thanks, Sima. Bye, guys. Have a good week.